back to the channel, guys. So today we are going to be going over the carbon bucket seats on the G80 M3, but I wanted to start the video off with some interior footage. I'm going to do some highway ramps here, kind of show you guys, not that you'll see much, but kind of show you guys how it is, you know, on and off ramps and sliding around the seats and stuff, and we'll go from there. So I'll put it into sport mode. So getting on that ramp, I want to say I started off around 60. I had to drop down to 50, you know, safety reasons, but it was a very sharp turn, and you could see how the seats really hold me in. You know, not really much, like there's a tiny bit sliding around. I'm not gonna lie and say there's no sliding around at all, but obviously you got the bolsters on the side and whatnot, so the seats do hold you in. I'll go over that later in the video, but just wanted to kind of kick it off with some, you know, like I said, footage on the interior. I'm about 70 right now, a little small ramp, nothing crazy. Let's see how we do. Maintaining 70, because we can for safety reasons. But no movement at all, like my back maybe like slightly moved there, but besides that, the seats are holding me down pretty well. Gonna hit a couple more here, and then we're gonna jump onto a different screen. So first things first, now that you guys saw some footage of me kind of sliding, not so much sliding around the vehicle, these are actually powered and adjustable. This is something I did not know until I got in a friend's G80, and until I purchased mine, I did not really know this. So these carbon buckets actually are powered, so they do slide forward, of course, they slide reverse, they also go up and down, as you can see. And that's just the bottom. The back portion actually comes forward as well, goes back as well, and then you can actually adjust the bolsters a little bit. So these actually do not move at all. These kind of stay in place. Obviously they move with the seat when the seat gets moved, but these adjust the bolsters up here. So it kind of, you could tighten them a little bit, you could loosen them up a little bit. Very minimal adjustment, I personally have noticed. I mean, it doesn't feel like a lot of adjustment. I mean, they are pretty firm as is, but so that's the first thing. They are power adjustable. Obviously you do get the memory seats with that as well. While we are talking about power, the M3 logo does actually, there is a light that turns on, kind of just like the F90 M5. I forget if the F80 M3 did this, but I think those lit up as well. But regardless, this does light up, so it is a powered LED M3 emblem. All right, so as most of you know, the G80 M3 either comes with the carbon bucket seats. If you do not get the carbon bucket seats, there are regular leather seats that comes with the car. I'll put a picture of that just so you guys can see the difference, but the carbon bucket seats are a $4,500 option, at least for the 2023 model year. I have seen you know, previous maybe 22, maybe 21. It was a little bit less, 3,500, maybe 3,900, but at least for the year I got, it was a $4,500 upgrade. And that's regardless whatever color you get. I do not think any of the colors have more of an upcharge. I think the price is standard flat fee of $4,500. So as far as the design, obviously you got the carbon fiber all down here, kind of towards the bottom of the seat, and then you can see through the rear. So the entire back is carbon fiber all the way down to the bottom. Then you do have the slots up here. I've been told these are for like harnesses. I guess when you take it to the track, people, you know, instead of regular seat belts, do harnesses. That's kind of why the opening is there. I have heard from people that have kids that ride in the back of their G80 M3s, you know, kind of messing with the driver. But, you know, fortunately I don't have that issue because I do not, you know, I don't really ride much with passengers back here. But, you know, in the rare occasion somebody does sit back here, I think they have a pretty good view. But pretty much it's, you know, you can see this is like suede all around, and then the front kind of switches to leather. Now I know the biggest complaint and concern that people have is getting in and out of the carbon bucket seats. These are a little bit tougher than most seats because this side over here does sit a little higher than, you know, other carbon bucket seats. So you do kind of have to kind of reach your leg over and your hip, and then you kind of slide in. So it's not really as simple as a sliding in and out. I mean, you do get used to it over time. I do not daily drive mine, but even then, like even with me not daily driving it, I'd say I'm pretty used to getting in and out of it. At this point, I don't really have any issues. All right, so here's a shot of me actually sitting in the carbon bucket seat. So you do have the carbon fiber piece right here. A lot of people like call this the nut holder. But you know, you could see as far as my, you know, I'm a bigger person, so I know a lot of people say, you know, over 6 foot, over 200 pounds, oh my god, you know, there's just no shot you'll fit into these seats and so on. I'm 6'1", I'm definitely over 200 pounds, and, you know, like, yeah, you could see, like, my thighs are a little bit bigger, I guess, than, you know, other skinnier, smaller people, but even then, like, I feel like I'm pretty solid. I mean, you know, like, gas, brake, and then for the G80s that are manual, you know, your foot would be here for the clutch. Like, you're not really moving much. For that basic movement, it's not an issue. I know a lot of people are concerned about that. My biggest thing is when I do get into the seat, getting into the seat is just kind of adjusting my outfits, like my shirt, whatever, or like if I pulled up to the ATM getting my wallet out, you know, that tends to be an issue. But besides that, once you're in the vehicle, you're fine, and obviously that's what a lot of people tend to say. All right, so as far as wear and tear, this is 6 months of usage. I do not daily drive my car. I probably drive it mainly weekends, maybe a day or two during the week occasionally. Besides that, not too much. I am sitting at just under 3,400 miles, so this is about, you know, a little over 3,000 miles of driving. Overall, I'd say they're holding out pretty well. You know, you can see a little bit creases here in the leather. You can see kind of bubbling up over here. The sides, not so much. You know, a lot of people do put it's like a bolster cover that goes over here that kind of matches your leather stitching to kind of, you know, prevent any issues. But even with going in and out and over this, you can see, I would say overall, I feel like mine's holding out pretty well. Besides, you know, just here, just kind of normal leather creasing, normal wear and tear. We can take a look at the passenger side. It does look a lot better as far as condition, obviously, because, you know, I don't always have passengers in here, but you could see over time, obviously it's leather, so the leather portion is going to start creasing and wearing a little bit. But besides that, I mean, as far as the bolsters, you could look like mine are still holding out, at least in my opinion. My only thing is, so obviously you could see I have the M stitching on the headrest, both in the rear and in the front seat, and it's a black interior with the M stitching. I do wish I got like I think it's the Silverstone interior. I'll post a picture of that. It's like the Oreo interior, the white with like a little bit of black in there. I do wish I got that, or the ivory interior. But besides that, regardless, I would have gotten the carbon bucket seats regardless of what color I got. It's just, you know, the one I ended up getting is a limited edition, which only comes in the black interior. So I was kind of limited to that. The only other thing, so these actually, to my surprise, do come heated. So you could see here, it's you can turn up the heating level. got warm quick. So they are heated, but they are not ventilated, or, you know, obviously I think most of these cars don't come air conditioned, but if they're heated, I don't see why they could have not been ventilated. But that's, you know, that's the only other thing. Like, besides the color, I do wish they were ventilated. At least, like, you already were able to heat them up. You know, I'm not gonna lie, the heated seats are really cool in the winter and when it's really cold out, so that is awesome to have carbon bucket seats that are also heated. But, you know, ventilation would have been nice. But besides that, that's really my only two things. You know, obviously the color, which is unrelated to BMW, that's just my spec. I do wish it was a different color, but besides that, you know, it would have been nice to have ventilated seats. All right, so as far as feedback with the carbon bucket seats, for the most part, I've had people between the ages of 25 to 60-ish, roughly a couple years, riding around shotgun in the vehicle. And for the most part, once people are in the seat, they think the seat's great. It's comfortable, it's crazy, it's beyond expectations. But really, it's about getting in and out. It's like that kind of side bolster that I was showing you guys earlier. For the most part, that's really been the only complaint people have had. So that's like other people's opinions, but as far as my opinion as the owner and driver of the vehicle, I've driven this, you know, probably an hour or two here and there. I've driven it 4 or 5 hours down to Virginia. I've driven it around mountains and mountain roads, and, you know, up and down elevation and whatnot. And as the driver, I feel like they're honestly beyond comfortable. It's great. It really holds you in your seat. You're not really sliding around, especially on those like back roads and curvy roads and mountain roads. Like, I think they honestly do a great job. I would say, me personally, I've been driving the car for 6 months now, give or take, and I think for the most part, if I were to do it again, for sure I'm getting the carbon bucket seats. I think they're great. I've had no issues with them whatsoever with 6 months. Even the normal wear and tear that I showed you guys, you know, nothing crazy, nothing drastic. If I were to do it again, if I got another G80 M3, for sure getting the carbon bucket seats. I think it just adds to the aesthetics, the looks, and, you know, the comfort and the ride. And it's just, you know, like I said, getting in and out, not a big deal. Once you're in the car, you get used to it. It's not that bad. And I think, honestly, it's great, you know, compared to, I've had friends that had, you know, Recaros and all sorts of other carbon bucket seats in their vehicles, like aftermarket seats, and functionality wise, obviously these are powered, adjustable and everything, and just everybody who's had other carbon bucket seats has told me these are honestly beyond expectations. And the fact that it's factory as well, you know, obviously, you know, I don't really know how warranty works with these if something were to happen, but regardless, you just go to a BMW dealership. I feel like it's probably better support than kind of dealing with aftermarket stuff. Not to mention, they come with the vehicle, they're part of the vehicle, so obviously, you know, BMW would know best how to kind of get that functionality built in to kind of flow with the rest of the vehicle. So yeah, besides those two things, you know, I kind of wish it was ventilated seats on top of the heated seats, because, you know, the seats are heated already, so I don't see why you couldn't add the functionality of ventilated seats. Besides that, I mean, you know, my only other thing was the color, and again, that's just me because I got this spec. Has nothing to do with the carbon bucket seats. I just, you know, I do wish I got a different color, but like I said, it's the vehicle I settled for, so that's kind of on me. Has nothing to do with the carbon bucket seats. Regardless, you know, I highly recommend them. I think it's great, especially for, you know, it's $4,500 when you're building the car versus other people who are, you know, a lot of people who are trying to get the carbon bucket seats are, you know, people are charging 10, 20 grand. I don't know if people are actually paying that much or if anybody's getting them for less, but that's at least what they're going for in the market. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope that helps somebody out. Make sure you sub, like, comment. I'll catch you guys next time.